Meeting will come to order, please. The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied. Would you please take a second, turn off electronic equipment, and stand as we do the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Seeing as there are no items for discussion, we'll go right to the department head reports.
Can I call the roll, please?
Okay, you can call the roll, absolutely.
Okay. Mayor Becker?
Here.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Here.
Commissioner Blumberg?
May we continue?
Absent.
Sure.
Scott, why don't you start today?
Workshop meeting. Mayor, as I mentioned, we will have our dredge committee meeting tomorrow. You were invited. We're discussing many of the technical aspects of the submission. We may have someone there who will talk to us about the feasibility of barging. May not, I don't know if they can make it or not. But Dr. Farrell will be there. Jim Martella, I believe, will be there. Roger, I know you'll be there. And you're, of course, all welcome, Dawn or Dave or whoever, so that we can go over that. Now, another one, as you know, we've had some complaints about a home and its condition on Exeter Court. The city has filed a complaint, and we have municipal court action pending. We also have the state, I don't know what his title is, fellow coming down who administers the FEMA money, Jimmy? Yeah. To meet with us tomorrow to see what can be done. I understand the state has, I don't know the exact dollar amount, we'll find out. I know it's well over 50,000, maybe it's 100,000, tied up in this house. We're trying to see if we can either get the house torn down, or get the house finished, or cleaned up, or whatever. So the state man for FEMA's coming down. Hopefully he'll be able to give us some assistance on it. Let's see, what else? We have an ordinance amendment tonight on the zoning change for the WSD. This is a compromise that has been worked out. I've had the input from 3 other lawyers. And I think we've come to wording that all have agreed to or acceptable to allay some of the fears that people live across the street of Amherst Avenue with regard to the development potential, both the old Integrity and the old Captain Andy's. So I would ask you for approval of that ordinance. It's amending an ordinance we already approved, slight wording change to try to make everybody feel comfortable. That's what I.
Thank you very much, Scott.
What's that now?
The ordinance.
Oh, well, it's come to my attention that we've discussed the feasibility of curfew ordinances. I guess you're aware that in many towns in New Jersey, they've been declared unconstitutional. There have been battles galore, legal-wise. Dave Wilson, our chief, and I have talked about this at length. I find that our police department really doesn't use the curfew ordinance. You want to pick up a little bit on that, Dave, that we use other provisions?
Yes, when we first were notified or learned that there was a battle in the state of New Jersey going to curfew, we actually stopped enforcing it, and we used other ordinances, such as loitering and that kind of thing. So, talking with Scott and I spoke, it's my recommendation, I believe Scott agrees with me, to just vacate the curfew ordinance to stop any potential legal issues. We did have a problem this past summer, and I'm afraid one of the defendants, we didn't use the curfew ordinance as the charge, we used something else, but I believe he's going to wind up taking us to court on the curfew ordinance. So we're kind of looking to head off a problem, and we really don't utilize it anyway, so we're going to get ahead of the game.
Right. There was an activist out there who was going around suing towns that have these curfew ordinances. That's part of the overall picture. If our police department has other ordinances or state laws they can rely upon, that's what they're using now,
Yes.
then maybe we should limit our exposure. I believe Longport either got rid of their curfew ordinance or they're talking about it.
Correct.
I don't know if they actually
I
did.
believe that they vacated the ordinance.
Understand that our courts just find fault with curfew ordinances that regulate the hours young people can be out. I mean, that's just that's our court system. So we'll probably come up with a recommendation in writing and do the ordinance revocation. You think about it. Some people will be alarmed, but we have other provisions that our police use to control conduct that needs to be controlled.
And I will go on the record right here and tell you, we have not issued a curfew ordinance violation probably in the last 3 years, if not 5 years. So, like I said, we want to get ahead of the game.
You all right with that, Don? Okay. You have it ready for the next meeting?
Very good. I think so.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks.
Thanks, Dave. Frank?
We've been mulching playgrounds, and we started on city properties. We've been working out at the ball field. We're done the infields of all the fields, and we're also going to replace the netting along the houses along Huntington Avenue. That should be completed by next week. We're also going to start flushing fire hydrants April 9th, that whole week, and we'd like to notify the public by a phone blast, if that's possible. As long as you guys give the okay, we'll have Fred do that.
All right, yeah, just get hold of Fred.
Yep. That's all I have.
Thank you, Frank. Jim?
I think our new commissioner, Sheila Oliver, signed into law a new law that roofing and siding permits are not required anymore. They did they made them ordinary repairs, which is like painting a house. So that's going to remove a couple of dollars out of our overall budget, but it's good for construction companies. They don't have to pay that undue burden for roofing and siding permits. The other thing is we like to introduce our new electrical inspector. His name is Jim Jarvis. He started today. He's got acclimated with the town, met a lot of people. He looks like a good overall guy to get the city of Margate, keep it rolling in the right direction. I think that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Roger?
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. Going back to Scott's with the amended ordinance, that'll be referred back to the planning board next week, then back to you guys for a second reading and adoption, hopefully. And
That's W, yeah.
Right. Correct. We have the updated flood damage prevention ordinance on the horizon very soon, plus the adoption of the preliminary firms as the official map now, right, Jim? And that's it.
Thank you, Roger. Dawn?
Just that we'll be following up on the work session discussions on the capital budget, the additions and the changes, and starting to generate a list for your first capital budget introduction, and then things that either will come in a 5-year capital plan or other renovations to this building, which will come in a separate ordinance later, probably in the summer. And then, of course, you all have your materials for a budget introduction. And then after all of that process is over, we'll make sure that makes it to the website.
Thank you, Dawn. Chief?
Nothing to report. Everything's great.
Chief?
Mayor, just a couple things real quick, if I can.
You may.
We've been giving you updates on call volume. As of today, probably at like 1,400 hours today, we're at 430 as compared to last year. We were at 347 calls. So the call volume in the fire department is definitely up and increased over prior years. I'm sure everybody saw it and was aware. We had a firefighter injured at a mutual aid fire response in Ventnor. I tried to keep everybody up to date on what was going on, and I have spearheaded a committee of 3 fire department officers that are going to give me a full written report following up with the investigation of what occurred. And the outcome is good. The firefighter's fine. He was back to work within 2 days of the injury, and he's fine. Everybody's good. But I think we learned a couple lessons from this incident, and some of it will be retraining of our personnel to make sure everybody is fully ready and understands. It was a minor incident that occurred that could have happened to any one of us based on the details, but I was very impressed with the first report that I got back from Captain Wainwright on the incident, and I think that once I get that and I forward it to all of you, you're going to feel the same way of how it was conducted and what we're going to provide. So other than that, everything's good in the fire department.
Thank you, Chief. Johanna?
Everything's great in the clerk's office.
Commissioner?
Mike, we covered it in the first meeting, and I'm waiting for the introduction of the budget. Thank you.
As I am. And second chance round table, anybody? No. Okay, we will then open for public comment. You have 3 minutes on anything that was discussed here today.
You know what that is?
Yes.
It's the John Sewell clock.
That's the John Sewell clock. Or as the solicitors used to say, the Sewell restrictions.
I never said that, you just made that up. Where'd that come from?
Yes, when you were not solicitor, you
Name
made
and
that.
address, please, sir.
The last time I checked, it's Sewell, 22 West Drive. Following up on the remarks of our esteemed solicitor concerning the technical aspects of the dredging project, I think there's a far more acute issue to address, and that's the economical issues and aspects of this dredging project. And I'd like to know, what is the status of funding this? Or is that going to be funded on the back of octogenarian taxpayers, Mayor, who don't boat or recreate on the water because they've been taxed out of their properties? So I would like a little emphasis on the economical aspects of this. And also, I need not say again, this project is futile if it doesn't include a master jetty at the end of Longport, because the sand will just get pushed back with the nor'easters and re-silt the back bays. And I don't think the taxpayer should be on the hook for that. Not to pick out the chief concerning the curfew remarks. I'll be on no criticisms, absolutely none, absolutely none. I am obligated as a member of the FOP not to make any negative comments about the police chief, and I will abide by that. However, both for the police chief and the fire chief, I don't believe that we should be running a nanny state. And if people are going to leave their children out all hours of the day and night, I don't think that we should be administering Narcan at the taxpayer's expense. If they want to do fentanyl, they should suffer the consequences of doing fentanyl. I don't know if you people bothered to read about the story in Ohio where a Spirit airline pilot and his wife both overdosed and left 4 children as orphans. Just think if he had been behind the, going to Florida, the solicitor's favorite vacation destination, next to his private beach in Margate. So I would strongly urge that we do not get into the fentanyl, cure. It's not our business. If people decide that they want to do drugs, there should be social Darwinism, and we should be able to award the Darwin Award for people being so stupid to take drugs. I don't think we're in that business. We should get out of it very quickly. So if possible, no Narcan in this city. I think it's wrong. I think it's pointless. They're only going to take Narcan again and again and again and again. We're not in this nanny state. Get over it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sewell. Is there any other public comment? Is there a motion to close public comment?
So moved.
Second?
Mayor Becker,
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo.
Yes.
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Mayor Becker,
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo.
Yes.
Thank you all. We'll take a 5-minute break and we will